Grand Rising, my friends. Hey there to the most beautiful subscribers. I feel like I'm all too close to that. Let's get a little bit of a right there, a little bit better. Hey there to the most beautiful subscribers. And if you're new, join us, jump on in. Markets still looking up, doing well. You know, if it in terms of the stewards to say, hey, Bitcoin is the bellwether. So, you know, if you're not happy when Bitcoin going up, you're doing something wrong. Ethereum, Bitcoin at 44,016 bucks. Ethereum at 3,144. Binance 434. Cardano $1.24. XRP at 86 cents. Solana at 118. Terra at 59. Almost $59. Polkadot 22.68. Doge at 16 cents. Shiba Inu at, hold on, took a nice jump today, up almost 50% for the week, to say 10% today. It was almost 50. It was at some point today about close to 40, 45, 50%. At 4 zeros, 32.58. Everything, you know, the market doing much better, keeping that eye up. Stocks it was a bit of a seesaw. It was the futures were down beginning of the day. Then there was but they started off kind of green, and then there was went to a little bit in red. I think the S&P stayed green for most of it, and I think it ended in the green. But look like the futures are down for tomorrow. Yeah, see, most stocks ended in the green for today. And Tesla was the only one that looked like it was down to the end positive for the day. It's not on this list specifically, but so futures look down tomorrow. It's only been positive news. Look to see if there's been any other earnings that were missed that were unexpected, but for the most part, there's been a lot of positive news from the economic standpoint and from a standpoint of every metric you can look at. Now, granted, there's some inflation numbers that's supposed to come later in the week that will be just show what the inflation was last year. We shouldn't really really weigh into what was coming, because all the other metrics in terms of the instability in Europe, the global pandemic, all these indicators are turning more towards positive. It look like outcomes. So, what are you gonna do? How much ETH burning? ETH burning. If you're new, or if I haven't mentioned it since you've been here, about probably 6 months, close to 6 months now, 5 to 6 months ago, Ethereum had an upgrade where they had a mechanism, because Ethereum has theoretically an unlimited supply. You know, unlike Bitcoin, which is capped at 21 million that will only ever be mined. Ethereum, you can still be, at this point, it's proof of work, but it was going to go to proof of stake at one point. But this mechanism now burns some Ethereum. And at this point, it shows how much Ethereum has been burning. And we're at close to 1.8 million Ethereum, which accounts for presently at the current time of about 6.5, almost $6.55 billion. So on this channel, we're about that positivity, and positivity being, you write something nice down in the comment section. Boy, I wish I could come through with the bop, start bopping, bop. Write something nice about people down in the comment section, and forward to this video, and then they can feel happy. You made a little bit of hapsies in their day, a little bit of happy wappy in their day. Come on, y'all. And with that, we're going to talk a little bit about this. It was a kind of interesting article I read. It was about a couple who had a dog who had a unique ability. They worked as prospectors for a mineral mineral exploration oil production company, and they found their dog was able to find these specific minerals underground, which usually were close, or they were able to use that dog to be able to find in their work. And this was something that came later in life for the dog, or in their relationship, having a dog and later in life. And that, so, the dog at that point already was fixed. And, come to find out they ran genetics, it wasn't necessarily a purebred, and other dogs that it was similar couldn't pick up that ability. So they decided to clone this dog. And they cloned the dog. Her name was Sydney. And the two dogs that they got from it were, I just want to get to it. So they cloned her, and the puppies they got for two girls, Olivia and Fiona, they were able to have this ability. And, they're going to, I guess, when they get older, probably try to have babies with them to see if they can, kind of keep this, because not only did it became, super helpful for that. Besides, they love the dog, but they said they're even though they're identical, there's differences between them. And so, I thought it was fascinating that, we're gonna see a lot of things and have a lot of questions about, what's going to be the philosophical, the ethical ramifications of cloning, because we're at a point where cloning organs is, within our capability, but it's fascinating and what that means. So I thought that was just a cool story, and to see that even though, the ability was there that they were looking to be able to get from that dog. So, in and of itself is important. It was, the personalities were different in that, and the variation in there. So, cool little story. Why China's communist approach to AI is a blueprint for second place. The long and short of it is that, there's a lot of fear of what China is doing with their artificial intelligence, and they're moving this, but in reality, they said China is so far a distant second to the United States in the areas of artificial intelligence that are important, that is it even really considered a consideration? And the fact that China has been able to use their artificial intelligence a lot for their data, and they've been able to collect, tremendous amounts of data because it's a socialized communist system, which, just as it's hybrid and weird, United States system is not just purely capitalistic. They're not purely just communism either. So, but one thing they are is, ran as a central authority communist where they can collect the data on every citizen, and there is no question about that at all. Here in the United States, they said like the data you may get maybe on one hospital, if that. In contrast to their U.S. counterparts are restricted to working with information from single hospitals, largely operated by private businesses that keep records on internal servers. So we have a disjointed medical system. They have an authoritarian kind of centralized system, which, because of this, their data in terms of aggregating data, machine learning for the healthcare, has been really good. But all the other things in terms of using artificial intelligence for, it seems that the United States are so far ahead it doesn't even make sense. Now, the question in this article, they talked more about how do we get to a system where we get that kind of data for our citizens, and is it going to be possible? And so, not necessarily. And here they talk about that, the fact that most of the cutting edge research is funded by DARPA, and of course DARPA is very particular of who it works with and the ties that it has, especially with the Communist Party of China. So it is limiting, and so there's been a big breakdown, not so much a breakdown, but a crackdown in the probably was a breakdown in our operational security. Now it's been a really crackdown in the ease that we allow China to access our cutting edge technology, and the researchers and the institutions that are engaged in that technology. So, been a big change. Fed releases new research on risk and promise of stable coins. And this is getting to some I'll just read to you what it says. So they talk about this two-tier system. And in this system they talk about credit intermediation, which is how companies make money basically. How broad could massive balance sheets of financial institutions affect their interactions. So they're thinking about doing stable coin narrow banking where, and it doesn't even make sense that physical cash should be tokenized. So every dollar would be one token, and dollars can be printed out of nowhere. So, literally makes no sense. Or now this is where it get too real crazy, because they said, no, let's just go even nuttier. So super briefly, for each dollar that is invested in a bank can turn around and lend out $9 of that. Times 9 of that. So for they get $1, they can give out 9, right? If you didn't know that, that's what it is. They're saying, okay, so that's why the dollar has so much, what people call inflation, or the value really doesn't matter, because the banks. So the Fed is a private organization that just says, here is money to banks. Banks, get money from the Fed. Basically, that's their plug. They buy money or get money loaned to them for the Fed, and they got to pay back to the Fed, right? And the Fed can just print that money out of thin air. The banks then loan that money to people, and other people say, well, look, I'm going to put my money with you. With the other money people put with the bank can loan out 9 times as much. So if you put in $1,000, the bank can turn around and loan out $9,000, separate from the money they getting from the Fed. So, that's why all this money just blows up. And that's why in crypto is like, that's why you can make a couple hundred thousand a year. It's no big deal for you, because it's literally billions that's going around in this. So, okay, bit of the Fed. They're saying, hey, so what are we gonna do with these stable coins? This is the getting to the point. The two-tier system they're thinking of is, one is, okay, let's back each coin, the stable coin narrow banking. Now I'm trying to understand this because it's written so crazily, but I'm trying to understand this. The stable coin narrow banking, which is, okay, each token represents $1. All right. And then somebody had the genius idea, said, what about we do like a two-tiered intermediation? So we got the credit mediation. Now let's do a two-tiered intermediation, which the stable coins are backed by deposits. So now it's like they're saying, we got this system where you give us money and we can go 9 times. Now with these stable coins, the money you deposit, and they didn't say how much yet, but let's times it by that. So it's now, to me, another order of magnitude on top of the other money they're going to be adding on. So among the various scenarios, a two-tiered banking system can support both stablecoin issuance and maintain traditional forms of credit creation, and maintain credit creation. So creating more money, creating credit. Said the report. In contrast, a narrow bank stablecoin framework can bring the most stability. So the money, that dollar is backed by that dollar, but at the potential cost of credit disintermediation, meaning you're not able to make more money, is what I think they mean by that. So so because they say, hey, we really like how stable coins work. They seem to work super well. People like they're stable. And then when the crypto market's crashing, they start to go up a little bit because people are using them as a safe haven and running into them. But we don't trust Tether being backed and that. So if we did it ourselves, and so that's where they didn't go into these now they're trying to figure out what kind of system they're thinking of how to freak it. Bitcoin veteran raises $150 million to bring DAOs and NFTs to the blockchain that started on. This talks about Stacks, a program that's been operating since 2017. was Block Stack, but now called Stacks, and it's getting money from a lot of hedge funds and venture capitalists to basically bring a layer solution for those type of smart contracts, the ability to have NFTs, the ability to have DAOs that can vote with tokens, everything you see on like an Ethereum, on a Cardano, on Avalanche, on Harmony, any of these billion ones we own now, Phantom. They're trying to bring that to Bitcoin and saying so, but so what is happening is Bitcoin. It has the strength of that chain, and if whoever can successfully tie something in that uses the strength of Bitcoin, it won't be able to mess up Bitcoin in any way. It'll be more of like an add-on, but it'll be able to use that to settle transactions and move forth and have the strength of Bitcoin. Yeah, it's going to be big. The first one that get it up and running. So they're calling it Trust Machines. Keep an eye out if you see Trust Machines, a company. So they're building this Trust Machines, this company that's going to convert Bitcoin to a layered solution. Bitcoin as a programmable layer one is so underappreciated. With raised capital, Trust Machines plans to aggressively hire Bitcoin core developers to build products that would enable Bitcoin investors to participate in the abundant sectors of decentralized finance. So DeFi, all of that will be, because right now a lot of people just wrap their Bitcoin and put it on Ethereum to use inside decentralized finance. So now having their, decentralized finance applications on Bitcoin itself. None of this, what I say, is ever financial advice. Nothing I say is ever medical advice or advice about that time you should have said something to that person in 8th, 9th grade. What this is entertainment, fun. You can watch what I like to do, talk about stuff I like to read about, think about. And what I also like, not even like, is I love, is that I love you. You love you. God loves us. And that's all that matters.